Hey, listeners, welcome back to the Change Your Filter podcast. Today's guest is Derek Cole. Derek is the general manager of Simmons One Hour around Fayetteville, North Carolina, which we'll get into. A couple things we're going to cover on this episode. We're going to talk a lot about AI and how Derek has actually created an AI version of himself to help his customers and his teammates. And we're going to talk about how Derek became the 1 Hour Organization Franchise of the Year in 2024. But we're also going to talk about Derek's diagnosis and his battle with MS. Disclaimer and heads up, Derek slurs a little bit when he speaks because of his medication and the battle that he's facing. And it's something that he'll mention on the podcast, catches a little bit of heat from audiences who don't understand his diagnosis. So I'm sharing that up front. He will get to that in this episode, but I wanted to share that up front because producers and I decided not to modify the way Derek speaks or speed things up or anything along those lines. Derek is also from the South, so give him a little bit of credit. But we wanted you to hear it as is because Derek's a real person who's fighting a real battle, and he's just a real awesome guy. And I'm so glad to be able to share a little bit of what I was inspired by in my relationship with Derek, and hopefully it inspires you too. So listeners, welcome back and enjoy this episode with my friend, Derek Cole. Derek, welcome to the Change Your Filter podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here. I know this is a busy time of year for a lot of people like you. And I wanted to follow up and have this conversation because when we met for the first time, I guess it was back in August, you came out to the Charlotte area. And one, thank you for coming all the way out here and bringing your dad. That was a real night for a lot of contractors in that room. I got a lot of feedback that it was really special, really meaningful. I got a bunch of kind of 10 out of 10s and fist bumps as you were headed out to the parking lot. And that actually reminds me, I should have brought your dad on here because, man, that guy's got a story to tell. But one, I wanted to thank you for that. But two, I wanted a broader audience to hear your story. So we're going to talk about your career story. We're going to talk about what you've done at Simmons. We're going to talk about some of the awards and growth and those sort of things. And also some of the more personal things that you're facing, how to lead a company while you're fighting, a disease. And we might throw some football in there. I know we talked about that a little bit too. But Derek, why don't you, for the audience who may have not met you before and isn't on your email list, which I would doubt is that many people, tell us who Derek Cole is. Tell us who you are, and let's get into your career story.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I appreciate you coming to Charlotte and talking to those contractors and anything I can do to help, because I've been doing this for 25 years now, almost. And everyone's been so gracious with help over the years. So as much as I can help and pay it forward, I would be happy to do it, because I have no doubt of the shoulders I'm standing on. It's not my own. I'm just, doing what I was taught by people before me. But yeah, so I started in this business in 2001. Started part-time. Actually, I go back before that. In 99, I worked in the install department between summertime between high school and college. And then my dad brought me on kind of part-time to help with office stuff back in 01. It was then we had thought about inventory management, something very sexy and exciting. Inventory. We did not have a computerized inventory. So as I was progressing through high school and college, and, my aspirations were, a lawyer, president of the U.S. It wasn't to be an HVAC company, but here I am, because I kind of fell in love with it, really. When I graduated in 2003, my dad was like, I don't really have a place for you here. So I was like, I've seen the losses we incurred because of inventory problems. Pretty much, if you hire me, I will pay for myself with what I'll save you in inventory. So I did that, and fast forward 2009, we signed up with 1 Hour Heating and Air as the franchise on the residential side. We still operate the commercial side separately, the Simmons side, which has been in business since 1953. So, you don't really want to change that name too much because people still call and say, "Is this Simmons?" Simmons 1 Hour. Yes. So we did that in '09. They wanted me to lead it with being a general manager. I did that. Did the company advisor thing. I've done every role in the business except fixing heating and air because I'm just not a fix it kind of guy. Okay, I got logical things in my brain, but as far as turning a screwdriver and doing that kind of manual stuff, you don't want me doing that. So anyway, it's been 25 years of passion and learning. And when I was in customers' homes, and I realized that as a kid, me and my brother would have yards and cut grass, like every other kid. I hated doing that kind of work, obviously. But I loved stepping back after we got done and seeing the finished product.
Yeah.
So I felt that same way with heating air. I would go into a customer's home that would have this cover challenge or this algae problem or filter problem or whatever it is. And then when we left, that problem would be solved or that problem be fixed. And that was the instant kind of gratification I love because I could help people and see it like right now. I don't have to, go to court and wait for a trial and wait for I can do it immediately right now, today, handle the situation. Grandma's got no heat. We can get there right now. We can fix her problem. And that's what really attracted me and the reason I stayed doing what I was doing.
You just reminded me of a time I was on a ladder on the outside of my house, which is not common. And I was cleaning out my dryer vent, and my neighbor came outside, and he's a professor of psychology. And he was like, "Hey, Paul, can I do that for you?" And I was like, "Yes, but why?" He said, "Because I teach entry-level first-year students psychology. I never get to see the product of my work. I never get to see the outcome. I just teach kids and then they come in and then they pick another major and they move on." He's like, "I just want to see the job be completed." So kid you not, Jeff, shout out to the best neighbor, climbed up on a ladder to clean out the dryer vent because he just wanted to see the completed job. So that's what you reminded me of. You mentioned joining 1 Hour in 2009. What led you to that decision and what were you seeking in that relationship?
Yeah, we at that point gone through a couple of consulting companies trying to better ourselves overall with margins and with inventory and with technology and with marketing, and nothing was really hitting for us. It was all a big letdown. It was not happening. So we got a letter in the mail to visit the Charlotte 1 Hour for a discovery day. We went and visited and, opened the doors and they showed us pricing and a few of the highlights and, okay, let's see more. So we went down to Sarasota and met with those guys and they kind of walked us through what the process and structure is. And that was something that, at least for me, I need to be held accountable to, was a system, a structure, a process, because I'm let's just say I don't like rules. so this was one of those things that I needed to be in a box. I need to be put in that box to run the best business I could. And they offered the systems we were looking for. They give it to us and we implement it for years and years. I went to conventions by myself to learn because we didn't have the money to send people with me. So, I had to make these connections with I'm like, yeah, OpEx or a franchise, the model says this, but these people are doing better at this. So what are they doing differently than what we're doing, teaching? So I built a lot of friendships over the years and really started understanding the best practice to move forward. And to me, that's the secret sauce of the franchise is the franchisees. It's the
Right.
fellow contractors. You can get around and play with ideas, see what's working, see what's not working. I mean, people have these groups everywhere. But it always feels like it's a little bit of I'm not going to tell you everything because I don't want you to do better. With 1 hour, it feels more like, here's what we're doing. Try it.
Derek, thinking back, I mean, obviously you joined a franchise in 29. You're still with them today, so things must be going well. You, a couple of years ago, I think it's 2023 or 4, you were the 1 Hour Franchise of the Year. Tell us more about that.
2024. So February 25, I accepted the award. It was unexpected. That was the third year in a row we got the President's Award, President's Circle, which means, 10% growth, top line, and then, at least that 2% net profit.
Yep.
So that was the third year in a row, and apparently we had a very good year, compared to, I think they said the industry was down like 7%. We obviously were not down. So that kind of made us stand out.
And how many 1 Hour franchisees are there in the U.S.?
Don't have an exact number for you. I know 400 to 500.
Okay, 400 to 500, and you're the number one franchisee of the year in 2024. And I guess we get to still talk about that until February, right?
Right. Until they are awarded again, I guess we're defending.
Okay, got it. You is there a chance you could run it back this year, or does this need to be cut out of the podcast?
Yeah, we're not gonna run it back this year, but you never know. I mean, they might say, "Hey, we really like these guys."
Good.
But it's usually based on numbers and based on those things. It's usually not a feeling.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, right. Or fortunately, I guess, depending on how you make people feel. Couple of things. So you're the top franchise, a top company in 500 companies. Tell us about your market. Tell us about where you live and where you operate. Just give the listener some context, because they're probably thinking you're in Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles.
No, yes, that would be probably a little better. But we're in Lawrenceburg, North Carolina. We cover Fayetteville, Pinehurst. We started covering Sanford, Wilmington. We cover about a 45-mile radius from Lawrenceburg. So if you kind of take Lawrenceburg and draw a 45-mile radius around it, that's usually where we're covering. So we got a big territory, which we have to because we're very rural. I think our major city would be Fayetteville. But after that, I mean, you got a lot of what we call windshield time.
Mm-hmm.
You got 30, 45 minutes between calls, usually.
Yeah. And Fayetteville, for reference, if those of you who don't know North Carolina, there's a couple big cities, big towns, I guess, in North Carolina. And Fayetteville is, I wouldn't say one of them. It's a military town. So transient community. How does that play into, you're not in Raleigh, you're not in Charlotte. How does that play into the opportunities you have and how you become the franchise of the year in an area that is, a lot of people wouldn't think of?
It's just providing outstanding service.
Yeah.
We firmly believe, that is the core to everything we do, which is customer service. And people say that's a buzzword. They got 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service. But do they? I mean, are we really answering the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Because, customers are usually not saying, come to my house at 2 a.m. But when they call at 2 a.m., if you answer the phone, come out at daylight.
Yeah.
That's fine. usually not supposed to come out, on a holiday or Thanksgiving unless there's like a major situation going on. But just be there for the clients. And it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Houston or Lawrenceburg or anywhere.
Yeah.
Answer the phone. Treat people with respect. Treat them right. We have a 4.8 Google rating. Yeah, it's not 5.0, but we got almost 2,000 reviews. So if you're like 5 stars at 2,000 reviews, I would love to know what you're doing differently. That no one ever says anything bad about you in history, because that's not possible. That's unrealistic. Even though I would love us to have the perfect call every single time, it's not going to happen. We have people. We have people working for us. I'm a person. I'm not going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect. But like I tell the team, it's not about being perfect today. It's about how you react to your mistakes. Make it right. The intent is always there to do the right thing. Will that always happen? Absolutely not. But how are you going to respond to it? Or are you going to respond to it? The biggest thing you see is there is no response. There is nothing. Talk to people. It's fine. It's okay. Everybody's going to be fine. Just talk to them. Communication.
Run to the fire is what I like to say. Like, run to where the discomfort is, and you can usually work it out. If you were to go back to 2009, knowing what you know now, would you have joined 1 Hour again? And it's a sort of 2-part question, but what's your perspective on it now, 15 years later?
Yeah, we renewed couple years ago. We are big believers in yellow in the brand.
Yep.
We believe the colors of the brand. I would do it again. That was the best. My dad, my brother, and myself, all 3 owned the company. That is probably the first time we all woke up the next morning in Sarasota with the same idea of we have to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so weird because all 3 of us never agree at the same time. But for all 3 of us to just have a peace about doing it, it was the right thing to do, and it is the right thing to do. It gives you that roadmap, and it keeps you on track with the industry and what should be done. And plus, as they keep growing, which they are, you're going to have more of these people from Myrtle Beach coming up to Lawrenceburg, or they have a beach house here and they call the 1 Hour there. They use them there. And my house in Pinehurst, we're starting to get those phone calls more and more of people seeing the brands where they were and now where they are. And that's what you want.
So if you were at a similar crossroads today and 1 Hour was not an option, this is sort of a tricky question to answer. Where are the places you would look today? What are the resources that are available today that weren't available then that would have helped you kind of, chart the course for the next phase of growth for you?
Yeah, I would probably go to some of the best practice groups. I have no experience with like Nextdoor or a certain path. I know there used to be Airtime 500, which used to be part of 1 Hour. So knowing that now, I'd probably go in that direction. But again, is everybody being transparent around you? And to me, that's where 1 Hour comes in, especially with the territories. Like, I'm not worried about Jim coming over here to handle my customers. No, Jim, what are you doing, man? You're like 15% up. Tell me exactly. And Jim's telling me exactly what they're doing, and even sending me the marketing pieces. By the way, try this script, try this call taking thing, try this. You know what I mean? So it's like fully transparent where you don't have that holdback. But again, I haven't experienced those networks, but to meetings I've gone to before, it kind of felt that way, but it's true or not true, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just felt like there's a little bit of holdback because you're right down the street, literally.
Now, this journey from where you were to where you are today hasn't been without, hardship and setbacks and on the personal level, fight against disease. Talk about what happened and when, and we'll blend that into how you lead the company today.
As you can probably hear from my voice, a little bit of slurring has caused my multiple sclerosis, MS. I've had that since 2012. Time flies, right? It's been almost 13 years, right? So yeah, that was a dark period. You had 5 months of not really knowing what's going on. And they'd finally tell you what's going on. You're like, great. All right, what's next? They're like, oh, there's the cure. You're like, what? We can put a man on the moon, but we can't figure out how to cure this thing. Like, now you got to treatment and this and this. And, it's progressed over years and gotten worse than when it started. But it's just the nature of the disease. And I'm speaking as clear as I can.
You sound great.
Yeah, it's on the downsides. Among a lot of other things that happens, but yeah, it definitely opened my eyes to slow down a little bit, enjoy the time you have, enjoy the loved ones, and to hit the good days, enjoy those, and the bad days will be there as well. So it kind of slowed me down a little bit, give me a little bit more perspective, but I will always give glory to God no matter what happens. I have firm belief that I was given this disease for a reason. Just to, do what I do or spread the word or serve in the church more, so be it. You know what I mean? But we're going to take it one day at a time and one step at a time.
If you wouldn't mind sharing, how old were you and what were the first symptoms and what did that path to diagnosis look like?
Yeah, so I was 31, right? Yeah, 31. You start getting, after like 25, you're like, I don't keep track of that.
It's fuzzy.
So I was like 31, but we're coming home from a concert. And if you know Highway 74 in North Carolina, right about Rockdam, headed back to Lawrenceburg, the road literally split into my vision was two separate roads at one time. I was like, these contacts are acting crazy tonight. So I was like, I just went to eye doctor, changed out my contacts. I was like, these new scripts aren't working. So I changed my contacts, kind of went away. Didn't really. But then I was playing basketball with some of the church guys. And within like 5 minutes, the whole thing was spinning out of control. I was so dizzy. Still hitting threes, by the way. You've been doing it for 20-something years. You know where you got some muscle memory.
That's right.
But yeah, I went to the eye doctor. He didn't see anything. Sent me to ear, nose, and throat doctor. He told me I needed that balance test. I was like, no, I don't. So I went back to the eye doctor. And he did a little, chase your finger around kind of eye test. And again, I saw it. It's only happened twice. The first time was at Rockingham. Second time was right here. His finger came to this section as literally like they split in two. I saw 2 fingers. But he saw my eyes when I saw it. So he said, I need to send you to Duke Eye Center to see if we can see what's going on. So I went to Duke in Durham to the eye center. And was sitting there and the lady, brings up the that thing of magnifying glasses or whatever it is, and starts looking in the eyes. And she's like, "Did you see that?" She's talking to her assistant. And her assistant is like, "Yeah, I saw that." And I'm sitting there. I'm like, "What'd y'all see?" She said, "Well, we think we need to send you for an MRI. We think it's multiple sclerosis the way everything is, but let's get that MRI and see what's going on." So at that point, it was my third MRI. So 22 blood tests, couple of MRIs, they couldn't figure it out. Everything's normal. I mean, I got like my test scores, I am completely normal outside of this. So I did the MRI, came back, they saw it, sent me to neurology. He confirmed it. I've been with him ever since, by the way, which is kind of rare. The same dude doctor for 13 years. But we started on that path, then started pretty aggressive treatment called Sabri, because the places where it's at in my brain are at the bottom, mainly, and towards the spinal cord. So they didn't want it to deteriorate anymore because they thought it might go further down my spinal cord, which would be a problem. So started the Sabri, and I'm on my third medication now, Ocrevus. So it's been quite the journey. I've read more medical information than I ever wanted to.
As more and more information, I mean, over 13 years, the advancements in technology and medicine and information come out. Does it give you more hope, less hope? Is it confusing? What has that journey been like? Because 13 years ago was forever in the information age.
I don't know. Yeah, it was, we had, the scary part is that doctors don't really want to push you in that direction. They want to give you, I'm like, so no. I mean, I got 3 medications I can try. Which one should I try? So we went to Sabri. But after a couple of years, you develop something called JC virus, which could lead to a brain problem, which could kill you. So that's not good. So after about 3 years of that, tested JC positive. So then I had another drug. All right, we could do this, and this. So I went on Gilenia. I did that research. It was a pill a day. I said, all right, no problem. Or it turns out that medication for me personally made me feel like I had a kid cold all the time, is what it made me feel like. And I had extreme wax buildup, which I've never had a wax problem in my ears or everything, but it's like all of a sudden happening. I had some also bad thoughts that led me to tell the doctor, look, we need to get off this medication. I don't know what else is available. I did some research. I researched Ocrevus. Ocrevus seems to be doing pretty good for people, but this medication does not make me feel good, not make me mentally feel good. I need to get off it. So we switched, went to Ocrevus a couple years ago now. That's been going really well. I feel a lot better. I told the doctor, I said, I didn't realize how bad I felt until I felt almost normal again, because you get used, I mean, it was another 2 or 3 years of just not feeling good. You get used to it. So yeah, reading all the studies and medical journals, it's a lot, but it's encouraging because now they are actually testing in mice a remyelination medication. And that's the problem with MS is you're trying to send these signals in your brain. Well, the coding on the brain is the myelin sheath. So that flows the electricity fast between, tells your arm, okay, or your speech, okay. You know what I mean? So what happens is the myelin eats away, or the immune system attacks the brain, eats the myelin. So you got an immune system fighting against itself. So the purpose of the medication is to suppress the immune system so it stops doing that. Well, the downside of that is you get sick faster. I've had shingles. I'm 40. Am I 44? Yeah, I think I'm 44. I've had shingles already. That's like an older person problem, but that's just what happens. It suppresses your immune system, and I've had COVID twice. You're more susceptible to things, and both times I end up in the hospital with COVID because it's a problem. Because nothing. The last time I was in the hospital for the last COVID, she was like no big deal. I mean, I had the temperature and I felt bad, but I knew it felt like what it was.
Right.
And she was like, "There's no big deal." I'm like, "Look, my temperature's like 100 and something. Okay, my body's temperature was like 94. Okay, so for me to be over 100 is a problem.
Yep.
Something bad is happening." She's still my temperature. She's like, "Yeah, barely, not a big deal." But then they found out I had MS, and they all started like, "Oh, okay, get him into a room." I'm like, "Oh, now we're in a hurry. You thought I was making this up the whole time? You think I want to be in the ER at 2 a.m.? No, I don't." I'm sorry. That was one off track there, but
fine.
But yeah, it's encouraging. There's been a lot of research, a lot of development. The main thing is with the medication now is trying to sustain and not progress. So what's exciting is the medication coming up is actually trying to get the myelin back in place or put it back where it was, which is exciting because then you can have normal signals. And then you can function normal because you're not short-circuiting.
Right. In your opinion, what is the best possible outcome as you try new drugs and continue to make progress?
The best for me right now would be to maintain. I did my MRI before my last treatment. A doctor finally said, "Look, you've been stable MRIs for a long time." He said, "I don't see any reason why it would get any worse."
Great.
I'm like, okay. So every day when something new happens, I'm like, okay, if we stop right here, I can deal with it.
Yep.
Then something else happens, and you're like, all right, if it stops right here, it's fine. I can deal with it. So the outcome would be, just to maintain. Obviously, I've changed my diet. I exercise as much as I can. I walk. The doctor was like surprised by this. Doctor tells me to start walking because I have one of my problems is kind of a leg drop in my leg. It's like, probably need to walk like, a mile or so a week. I'm like, okay. I come back and I'm like, can I do like a couple miles a week? He's like, really? I'm like, you just told me to. Why are you surprised? I don't understand. I'm a rule follower. Even though I don't like rules, I will follow the rules.
And you like to be held accountable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the eye doctor is like, you take your contacts out every day? I'm like, y'all told me to. You told me. I don't understand. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Tell me about, you mentioned you changed your diet. I mean, give the listener some tangible insight around what you eat and why and all of that.
Yeah, I eat a lot of high protein, a lower carb. I wouldn't say low carb. Usually I try to hit about 180 protein a day, 150 carbs a day. Nothing too crazy, but usually under 2,000 calories a day. But healthy choice meals, and I'm not cooking and making my 5 plates of lunch. That's not happening. So I'm eating Greek yogurt, protein powder, protein drinks, supplements, uh, vitamins, minerals, the big problem with MS for years has been low vitamin D, which I didn't know was a problem until it was a problem. So definitely making sure I get that on top of my other ones. But that whole thing's changed the way I've done life in the last 13 years for the better, for the healthier.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel good. Sometimes sound good. But yeah, people comment on social, "Are you drunk?" That's right. I own an HVAC company. I'm drunk and I'm making a video for you. Yes, that's what's happening. No, I'm not drunk. I have MS. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can.
I've actually seen some of those comments and posts and things like that, and talk about what that's like. I mean, that happens not often, but occasionally, right?
It's pretty much every week. No,
Wow.
but then again, I post live videos, so it's all relative. But at the beginning, you kind of hurt your feelings a little bit, but and after years and years of it, you just, dude, if you're making negative comments on somebody's post, for me to stop my day and to comment on someone's post negatively says more about me than it does about that person. So, dude, I'm sorry you're going through that. But no, I have MS. Usually when I say that, or say that to a person, no, I apologize and I'm sorry I didn't know. But after a while, when it's a really bad video, like really a lot of slurring, I start with, I have MS, I'm about to slur, here it comes.
Now let's talk about content. You mentioned you put a lot of content out there. I would argue probably more than anybody. Where did it start and how do you keep up with it? What's your strategy? I mean, give the listeners some context for just how much content you're putting out there.
Wow, I definitely don't hit every day on Facebook, but I try to do about 2 to 3 per day on Facebook.
Videos or?
It could be
anything?
both.
Yeah.
One day it could be all videos. One day it could be all pictures. I'm trying a few different things, obviously the Facebook Reels, YouTube Reels. Those are getting more views than, like a 7-minute video on YouTube. You could obviously get more reach with the Facebook Reel video, which will be, 3 minutes or less. But yeah, every day I'm trying to put something out there. But it started with, I was in a call center taking phone calls.
Yep.
Back in the day. And still today, we keep getting the same type of questions every single year. So I was like, I'm just going to answer the questions. So, that's all the videos are really, is me answering questions. It could be a video of me back in 2016, which is very clear, by fantastic idea. Or it could be a video of me from last week, which is not as clear, not as great. But The only time I do get sad is that there's so many videos. By like so many videos, I mean like 1,500 videos. I mean, there's so many. The only time I do get sad is when I look at a 2016 compared to a 2022 or a 24. I'm like, that cat ain't coming back. I wish he spit more knowledge back then, because he could really say it.
Right.
But today we have articles and we have more mediums than just video, but video is definitely the most popular.
And how has that played into your adoption and execution with AI?
Yeah, so we have something on the website, which I just wrote an article about, which I'm fixing to drop a YouTube video about with the podcast about Derek AI. Something we have talked about a few times, but something we don't use nearly enough, which is all my content, which is over 900,000 words into one AI. So you can go on SimmonsOneHour.com, ask. He's right there on my homepage, Derek AI. Ask him a question. When should I change my filter? What kind of filter do I need? What's this noise making? What's this frost in my unit? What's any HVAC question you have is going to pull that data from all of that knowledge and answer that question like that instantly. And my favorite part, it'll actually give you a reference to the YouTube video or the podcast in which the answer came from, so you can then click on it and see the whole thing if you want to watch it.
Right.
But funny story. Was it yesterday? What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, I was with the dispatcher. Lady asked what was the pantry. She didn't ask me. I was standing behind her because I had to tell her something. She went to SimmonsOneHour.com, went to their call, typed in the question, Heart Start. They had the question about Heart Start. Typed in, what is a Heart Start? And it gives her the information. She starts reading it. I'm like, that is what Derek AI is about too, because I encourage the call takers. If you have the question or the customer has a question about why this happens or that, I say, you don't have to ask me, you don't have to wait on me. You can just tap it into Derek AI. He's there 24/7.
Yep.
He's not in the meeting. He's not on the podcast. You can talk to him right now.
And you've used that with new employees and onboarding, is that right?
No employees, seasoned service tech, seasoned employees, everybody. I use it myself. I used it this morning on TikTok. Somebody asked about a rattling noise. I took the question, copied it, put it into Derek AI, and they copied the answer and then replied. I'm like, that's how I would answer it anyway. So might as well save a few minutes.
So I used it when I first found out about it to try to navigate to the particular air filter that I needed for my house. And it was able to get me to the Contractor Commerce filter store on your website where I could order the replacement filter. So tried to stump it,
cool.
But it did a good job. How, for those listening to this, the idea of them, even creating content and flipping their, recording themselves is a stretch. I think the idea of, executing on an AI version of themselves is a stretch. Where would they start to do something like that?
I would just start creating content. It sounds like such a big mountain to climb, but you gotta start. I mean, you gotta take that first step. It's like I relate this to MS and the guys we talk about. E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. Take an event in my life, MS. What's my response? I can either exercise, eat better, take care of myself, follow the rules. That's going to equal the outcome, right? Or I could feel sorry for myself and sit on the couch and not do anything. It's probably going to get worse, right? So same way with your business and with even creating content. People want content. So instead of them going to Google to find the wrong answer, why not come to you to have the right answer? Why not tell them what the answer is? What are you scared of? They're going to try to fix themselves? How many phone calls do we get with people trying to fix it themselves?
Yeah.
A lot. Would you rather have them call you or me? Who are they going to call? They will call the people they get the content from. So if you're gracious enough to put the content out, but you got to turn that camera around. You got your cell phone in your hand right now. Right now, you got it in your hand. I see you.
Yeah.
All you got to do is turn that camera around, record the video, Could be something simple. What's the question in the call center? Go ask your call takers. Spend the biggest questions today.
Yep.
They want to know why their unit is steaming when it's cold outside. All right, let's record a video. Why is it steaming? Why does that matter? Why shouldn't you be alarmed? Or why should you be alarmed? That's all there is to it.
Yep.
The content is out there. You just got to record.
So when you think about the types of questions you hear, how often does pricing come up and what's your philosophy on that?
Pricing comes up, I would say rarely. I know on our website we give, when someone wants the ballpark price for a new unit, we always want them to the website, contract ecommerce, get their ballpark price. We give them a monthly price for how much the system would be. Okay. Do you want to go there or not? Yeah, I want to see a contractor. All right, schedule a contractor. Oh, I can't afford that. What are you scared of?
What do you think about the argument that takes away the ability to build value in the home, build value with the customer, and they're just going to price shop you and, you lose that customer?
No. Well, that's your fault. If they price shop you, they shouldn't price shop you. Why would they? I mean, if you believe in your company, your standards, yourself, I don't understand why they would price shop you. When I was the code advisor, I think I had an 86% closure rate on the ones that were not credit turndowns.
Yep.
But it's just giving people what they want and then having the passion to believe you are the best choice. It sounds like you're pushing. Yeah, I am pushing because I can't take care of you if you don't buy from us, right? If I don't take care of you, I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not talking bad about any competition. A customer called me one day and said, you guys are like $2,500 for coal and so-and-so, heating and air is $1,700. I think I might go with them. Like, okay, well, go with them. Well, what's the difference in price? I can't speak for what they do. I can just do what we do. We vacuum the lines. We pull a vacuum. We put the right refrigerant in there. We don't guess. We sort it with nitrogen. I can't tell you what to do. There's a lot of corners you can cut to get a cheaper price. But if that's what you want, then that's the way to go. But we don't cut corners. This is how we do it. This is our standard. This is why I've been in business 70 years.
Yep.
I can get it done for cheap. You can always do it cheaper. Always. You can always get it cheaper. I mean, we're all hanging out at the restaurant. As the guy buying food for everybody says, hey, I'm the cheapest in town. Come over here. Let me know when that happens. Yeah, I'm the cheapest in town. No, they understand things cost money. That's the good news about when I started versus where we are now, which is I felt like probably 10, 15 years ago, it felt like a shift to me. Well, look, people actually are getting tired of being taken advantage of. They're getting tired of the contractor not answering the phone, giving the runaround, no communication. They're actually starting to, in my opinion, starting to value what we're doing. But we got to communicate that to what we're doing to the client and tell them what and why it's different, why it's important. Otherwise, they're going to price shop you because you're not a commodity. You're not a box somebody can plug in. You're not a fridge somebody can just plug in and be gone. No, we are installing technical equipment, and the most important day in the life of a system is the day it's installed. So, who you want to go with to give you the best chance? A company with 70 years or the company that opened down the street with 4 years? Again, we're not bashing anybody. I don't know what they're doing. They could be doing the best install ever.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, everyone's open to price shopping. I mean, they go on Amazon and see, hey, this capacitor costs $30 on Amazon. Yeah. Oh, if you're paying $30, you're paying too much. Because we're getting them a lot cheaper now. How much are yours with labor? All of it.
Yeah.
It's all labor. Parts free.
Yep. You told me a story when you were here in Charlotte about and maybe an elderly lady, maybe a widow who came into your office that was really anxious and upset and came in wanting a price on a system. Do you remember that story?
I do. That was the biggest reason I went to contractor commerce and started with a monthly pricing. I started with that ballpark pricing and started leveraging that. By the way, somebody just did a quote on contractor commerce. So I teach the technicians or train them. If someone wants a ballpark price, take them right to the website.
Yep.
Give them the ballpark. That's fine. But the lady came in. She was almost hyperventilating. I mean, she was making me nervous. And I don't really get nervous. But she was there. She's like, oh my gosh, I got a new system. How am I going to do it? How much is this thing going to cost? I gave her the standard speech of converters that come out, measures on, electrical, see what code, the whole thing. She's still panicking. She's like, I'm not going to afford this. My husband is sick and we've been on this. And how much? I said, I don't know, $250 a month. That's it. $250 a month. She said, I could do that. And a light bulb went over my head. I was like, oh my goodness. All the anxiety went to ease. I think she ended up doing like $330 a month. But she was happy with $250. Okay, I can manage $250. And then I set the woman up for the advisory route and then, talked about a new system and got her approved and got her financed and chose the plan she had. But that day was just the light bulbs like, what are you doing? They want a ballpark. Let's give them a ballpark. I mean, this lady, the guys who went to, I'm not sure if he said a lead or not, but if he did, she sold the monthly price right there on the screen in front of her face. There is no surprise when that converter comes out there, and that's about the same price.
Yeah, I remember.
Again, it's the information you're willing to give because they're going to get the information. Do you want it to be solid information or do you want them to guess?
You also said something that I won't forget, and it was around this idea of the long-standing belief that you have to be in the home and telling your company story and spending 90 minutes before you reveal the price at the end. And you said, they're not listening. So tell me more about that.
I'm just, because I've had this, I mean, people are just like we are, okay? We should not think people are different. We scroll social media. We watch videos. We do the same thing with price. A guy was in my house. I need to replace my windows. And he's talking about the company. Look, if I didn't believe in the company, you would not be in front of my face. Okay? I don't need to talk to you if I don't believe in you. I believe in the company. I'm listening. But get to the price, man. That's what we want to know. Get to the price. So I'm not listening. I'm waiting for him to finish. The customer's in the same position we are. They're not listening. Get to the price. What is he going to do? I've done my research. You're in my house. The technician sit lead. You're in front of me. I don't need to hear about your 70-year history, about your 25 years in the business, about how so-and-so walked both hills in the snow with no shoes. I don't need to hear all that. I need the price. I need to fix. Let's go.
What have you lost since you opened up your pricing to the World Wide Web? Now your competitors can go on and see your pricing. What have you lost? What negative has come about?
I haven't seen any. Of course, they're probably not telling me what the negatives are, but I hope my competitors have gone there. I'm like, look, raise your standards. See ours? Raise yours. Let's all get on the same page. There's enough business for everyone. All right? So how about we all get to the same standards and be up here and provide that higher bar for the customer? That would be awesome.
Yep.
Like I tell the team all the time, I said, look, the bar in HVAC, unfortunately, is so low. So low. You just got to do a little bit extra. You just got to do a little bit of communicating. You got to show up on time. You got to show up clean. You got to not make a mess in the house. All of these little things add up to big things. But after you experience contractors, you see why they're big things now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if we all raise the bar to do 2-year parts and labor warranty for every install, money back guarantee for every install, or a UN guarantee, or a lifetime workmanship guarantee on every install, meaning, Mr. Customer, Paul, if we do anything at your home and it fails because of what we've done workmanship-wise, you will not pay anything. We're already doing that. Most good contractors are already doing that, right? So why not say it?
Yep.
Why not say we're doing this? Why not set the bar up? Put your money where your mouth is. Let's go. We can all do this. I mean, it's not that much of a jump. Just a little bit of extra effort and we'll be there.
Good. What is your perspective on how consumers use AI to search and search for pricing? Anything you're seeing or hearing in that space right now?
No, I'm not hearing too much yet, but it's coming.
Yeah.
We need to be more intentional with Chat GPT. Those platforms, just like with Alexa and the voice, we need to be in those platforms to make sure we're pointed in the right direction when that question happens, and not just a random Google search of, here's 5 contractors, and we're all bunched together. And then you get to the person saying, well, I'm getting 29 bids. I'm like, geez, what was this? 3. All right, gosh. And then how's that going for you? Have you enjoyed the 3 so far?
Right. Yeah. Closing out here, because you've been so generous with your time. We're coming up on an hour. I know you got to get back to work.
Yeah. See, I can go all day, right?
I know. I could too. I didn't even get to any of the questions I wanted to ask you, so we may have to run this back and do it again. I get the impression and feedback from contractors across the U.S. that it's not been a great year. That 2025 wasn't materially better than 2024, and in many cases worse. People will be listening to this between, before the new year. What's your perspective on the year, and then looking forward? What kind of advice do you have for contractors who are, maybe trying to dig out of a hole coming into January?
I think the big thing to focus on for our business and anyone's business is what we call club memberships. Having those maintenance customers. So when you have this kind of year we're just having, where a lot of people around doing replacements because the prices have been crazy, or they might not get financing, they can't do $1,000 repairs. Having that solid base to grow your company that way, which is, I call it lifetime value of the customer versus, trying to win that click on Google for $35. Focus grassroots internally, getting those service calls online, and then they need to be club members. You need to have a solid foundation, a solid base that you can always dip into. At least twice a year, you can show up at their house and do a maintenance.
Yeah. At
least. But on top of that, you can also tell them how they can improve things. Obviously, that customer is, we call them a free agent. Take them off the market. put them into the club. Whatever we got to do, get them in the club membership. That is the goal. That is what I would focus on. If I was opening a brand new business, first thing I would do, we got to focus on clubs. Yeah, big ticket replacements, fantastic, love it, great. It's coming. It's coming. They have to replace their units eventually. But if you can get them to a point where they're loyal and they only talk to you, you can start winning that clickbait war on Google, on AI search, building your own AI bot. If they want to go AI, hey, go Derek AI. Yeah, actually, you can probably send them to Derek AI now. I'm not going to take them. I mean, they probably live here. But it's, financial credit has been tough this year for us. A lot of credit turndowns. We tried multiple vendors. But you have to have that foundation. You have to have that base.
Because our listeners are going to want to know, how do you keep the, memberships can be such a, it's a small item. It's like one of the last things a technician needs to be thinking about. They're in a crawl space or in an attic. They're trying to fix stuff. How do you keep that momentum and focus and energy around something that seems small? Are you doing it through the phones? Are you doing it through the technicians? How do you keep that an everyday thing at Simmons?
Both. We do both phones and with text. I mean, there is no secret. If you were to pull a service tech from our company, what's the number one goal? Number one goal is in the club. If they're smart club, lazy club, I don't care. Get them in the club.
Yep.
So yes, if you're in my house, that should be the first thing you're talking about is how to get on a club membership, because you cannot explain to me how a customer cannot benefit from a clean operational system, which is achieved through membership.
Yep.
Right? There is no excuse for us we're obviously not communicating something right. Mm-hmm. Or we don't have a good enough club membership. Maybe that's it. But there's not a month, if not a week goes by in that meeting in there every week where we talk about these club members need to get up, need to get better. Take them off the market. Take them off the market. If you can sell a repair, you sell a club. If you can sell a motor that needs to be replaced, okay, how about a 15% discount? When you add the club to it, you're only paying like $100 more.
Yeah.
And you get a 2-year warranty, not a 1-year warranty. And you get priority service and no dispatch fees, whatever your deal is. But it needs to be the primary focus of every single contractor. Yeah. That should be when that phone rings and it's a brand new customer, like, oh, another club member going down. Get it, club membership. And I tell the guys a lot, especially in the spring and the fall, look, I know it's tedious. You're doing 4 or 5 a day, same exact thing, clean the clothes, doing the thing. Hey, I get it. We're human, right? We're not going to be 100% every single time. For me to think that would be outrageous. But we should be providing our checklist and providing what we say we're providing to the customer every single time. That was the conversation we had a couple weeks ago in there. The checklist is the standard. I like, for some reason, I watched a pilot video, and the guy's done hundreds and hundreds of flights, but every single time he goes through his checklist. I've gotten some guys say, I try to remember it, and then I come back here. No. Don't try to remember it. It is a checklist. I said that pilot who's flown so many times does that checklist every single time before he leaves.
Yep.
We do it every single time when we take care of a club member because those customers are gold.
Yep.
We need to treat them like royalty. They are important. We treat those people up here everyone who does have a club membership, they're next. But the club members, when they get no heat, they're at top.
Yep. All right, last question, I promise. Well, I don't want to make any promises that I can't keep, but the intention here is this is my last question. So people may be listening to this who are going through a tough season of life. Maybe it's health related for themselves or others, and you've been through that, you've navigated, and you're still fighting, and you still face, a long road. How do you or they remain, hopeful when facing something that's uncertain and challenging? Any advice or perspective you can share?
For me, you gotta lean on God. You gotta lean on God to direct your steps, and you got to take it one step at a time. Next rep. We do a lot of football coaching around here, and like, dude, forget the last play. Next play. Do the best you can. Look, today might not have been a good day. Those hours might not have been great hours. Leave it behind you. Next one. Next rep. And then you turn around and 13 years have happened, and you're like, I've had MS for 13 years. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, you can easily get lost in thinking about all the bad stuff, or you can start looking for the good, the silver linings. What's good about MS? It has brought me closer to God, closer to Jesus. It has brought me closer to family, closer to my wife. It has made me appreciate life more than I would have had before. Because before it was just, boom, let's go. Running. Whereas now, when you're facing something that's a challenge, step back. What's the good? What's the bad? Tackle the bad. Look to the good. And keep moving. I mean, that's so important. I know it sounds easy to say, but guys, I'm living it. It's easy to say and it's a cliche, but dude, just one step at a time. Eating the elephant, one bite at a time, one day at a time. Look, that, a workout session, I wanted it to be 25 minutes and it was 10 because I was tired. All right, give yourself a little bit of grace. I mean, you know how many people are not working out? You can only do 10 minutes? Good job. That's 10 more minutes than you had before. So, yeah, next one.